Today's episode of the GSD Show is brought to you by Wenning Branding and Text Request.
Imagine it's June 2020, when everything was pretty much at its worst during that year. As a fitness studio, I don't know if there was a month that was much harder, and your revenue gets down to about $5,000 in EFT. Not much you could do with $5,000 a month. Very few rents that I've seen can be that low. Even some employees can't be paid appropriately when you consider payroll tax and everything with just $5,000 a month. It's a very tough spot to be in. But imagine that in less than 9 months, still in the thick of it. In fact, even today as I film this, cases are higher than ever. But in less than 9 months from that June 2020 point, you were able to pretty much 10x revenue and get your EFT to about $50,000. A lot of changes have to be done, and you have to get really, really creative. And so today we're joined by Katie Georgiades of Rockbox in Lexington, and she's going to share with us exactly what she did, how she did it, and some other really cool things that I've learned along the way. Now, before we dive in here with Katie, I do want to make sure that everyone here remembers GSD Con Leadership, where we focus strictly on people and how to recruit, how to hire, how to make sure that you give your team everything that it needs to be able to run the business without you. One of the two things that we care about here at Loud Rumor. Make sure that you register. It's going to be here in Scottsdale, Arizona. In fact, just a few miles from where I'm at, February 19th and 20th, 2021. And you can go to gsdcon.com to register. All right, Katie, welcome to the GSD Show.
Thank you so much.
I've known you for a little while now.
Yes.
And we got to really I think talk in person for the first time. Was it in Vegas?
Vegas.
Is that the first time?
Yeah.
And you had said that you heard a podcast episode about promotions for Black Friday or something.
That's right.
And walk me through that again, because I don't want to chop it up, and then we're going to dive into what happened since.
So this was towards the end of 2020. Yeah, it's 2022
Yeah, because it was probably around November when we did that
It was
episode.
and it was just after. So I think it was like December 3rd, let's say. And we had basically missed Black Friday. We had a couple of plays that we were running, didn't do much. And then I listened to that episode, and my mind was blown, and I just saw so many opportunities in there. And I think I also shared with you in Vegas, it was one of those moments in the shower, when your mind you are forced to stand still.
Yeah.
And I had this epiphany coming out of that. Just take action. And it was also kind of coupled with hearing that episode. And we basically ran that whole playbook, but in December. We just called it December Deals.
Right.
And it's honestly what was the catalyst for our growth as a studio. It was amazing.
So the majority of that bounce back happened from that December point to March.
It did.
So it was, even though we said earlier, 9 months later, in reality, it sounds like it was 3 to 4, maybe 5 months of pushing to get back to where we needed to get to?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And before we dive into exactly what you did and some of the big moves that you made to get there, you have a pretty interesting story about opening your studio. You had your daughter just a few days after opening. Is that right? So talk to us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, so coming into being an owner of a studio, I was working full time. And my husband, Elio, was really the one doing all of the construction and working with the GCs, doing all of that stuff. He was driving back and forth to our studio, pulling 13, 16-hour days. Wow. It was just crazy. I was very, very pregnant, working full-time myself. And then we opened our studio in April of 2019. And I had my daughter 3 days after we opened the doors. So I didn't even go to my own studio for months.
Yeah. And then just shortly after, while your daughter's essentially still an infant, then you get into 2020.
Yes.
Which was probably nuts in itself.
Yes.
So talk to me about some of these. Well, let's go back to that day. When you went to 5,000, what was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind was, is this it, right? Do we just call it here? We had already, as we just talked about, faced so many challenges with not being near our studio initially, having a newborn, being new owners, and not really knowing what we were doing, to be quite honest. And then a global pandemic happens. And so for a while I thought, we gave it our best shot and this might be it.
Right, right. And you kept pushing through though, because you made it all the way to December, not really hitting that catapult yet. So what kept you going from March 2020 all the way to December? Why are you still open, listening to a podcast about growing your fitness studio? So, I mean, there was still a glimpse of hope there.
Yeah, there was. So I had that moment, those are the things that were running through my mind, and we had some support from the franchise, and I will say they pivoted very quickly to provide some virtual solutions. And we basically, I remember the day my husband and I looked at each other and said, let's give this thing until March. If we can get it going by March, we're in it to win it, but we're going to give it all we got. So we got to push and we got to try.
Right, right.
So we found that motivation, and then we did get creative. I think we listened to our membership base. We gave them a few options, right? How can you still maintain your fitness goals while supporting us? And we were very, I think, transparent and raw and honest at that point in time, because that was the only thing we could be.
Anybody really was too.
Totally.
Yeah.
So that push, and we also took some extra steps to keep people feeling really safe. So we invested in kind of a state-of-the-art fogger machine. We used an all-natural, fogger spray, and then developed the heck out of our cleaning protocol. So we were able to show people, and we confidently said, like, this is the safest, cleanest place to work out in South Carolina. And our members really appreciated all the effort we put into that. So we were able to save people that way. And we pivoted quickly too. I was in my own studio doing virtual videos with my GM, with our trainers, doing virtual live workouts for people, joining on Zoom so they could participate and still feel that community. And so just being able to pivot quickly, adapt, and push through it really helped us. And then kind of bringing it back to October timeframe, we were getting our feet back on the ground, having more of that recurring revenue, and then that's when we really started to rebuild our studio from the ground up. It was an incredible learning process because I recognized all of the gaps that we had in the past, but we were able to put that foundation in place to really catapult us, to kind of that next level, I guess I would say.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so now I want to talk about that. Let's talk about the catapult.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my favorite part.
That is everyone's favorite part, right? The hockey stick. So you said it was probably around December when you began seeing that hockey stick kind of go in that right direction?
That's
around
right.
there? Okay. And what are some of the things that if you were to look back now and you were to pinpoint, be like, okay, we did this helped with this worked, this was the biggest contributor. So what are some of the top things that you think played the biggest role in you being able to get back to 10x of your lowest point and essentially top of the franchise?
Yeah, I think the first thing, and I think this was the initial piece that I started with, and this stemmed from that moment in the shower where I was listening to you and consuming other content too, but I was learning. And in my corporate career, I was in the learning space as well. So it's always been, I guess, a guiding principle of my life is to always be learning, always grow yourself. That personal and professional development is so critical to me. And I just had this moment where I was like, why am I not doing this with my team? I think I was so wrapped up in all those things we talked about coming out of that pandemic, forgotten some of the basics. And so I started immediately, went to the studio that day and I said, guys and ladies, we are starting a weekly meeting. First off, we didn't really have any meeting structure in place. So we started with a weekly meeting and then a weekly training.
Okay.
And
like sales training?
All sales focused. The weekly meeting was all about understanding metrics, numbers, where we are, where we need to be, and how do we get there. So a little bit of that strategy at the end of how we're going to get to those numbers that we set together. Them being a part of that process to set quotas and goals, I think was really helpful too. And then the other meeting was all about training. So in that strategy meeting, I would also give them homework to say, go watch, these 3 videos, listen to this podcast, come back, we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to role play. And then I will also say that you talked about some role-playing games and things and learning scripts.
Like the dog versus bear, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So we started making it fun, and we did it consistently. And that word is a huge one for me.
Your team started liking it probably after a while, right?
Well, yeah, and they had fun with it, and they got better. And we set ground rules from the beginning to say, look, this is not about you judging each other. It's not about anything but you getting better. And what an incredible opportunity.
The funny thing is, I don't care what it is. If it's a sport, if it's an instrument, if it's sales, whatever. The more you practice something, the better you get. The better you get, the more you like it. The more you like it, the more you want to practice it. Now your practices are better and you're doing more of it because of that. Which means you get better even faster than you were getting before, which means you like it even more, which means the spiral just continues to go down if you really get the right people that are motivated. If you get the wrong people, there's some people that just have a hard time getting into a groove, getting into a rhythm. But there's other people that are like, look, you just give me a track to be on, I'm going to run with it. I just need a track. Right? And so you gave some good people some tracks, and that allowed them to really focus and get really good through the trainings that you got them. Okay, so you do weekly trainings, you do a weekly meeting. How long are your weekly meetings?
An hour.
Okay, full all hands?
That one's just the sales team.
Just sales.
We do a bi-weekly staff meeting as well with everybody on the team. How long? It's typically an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the weekly training with sales, how long is that?
That was also around an hour. We've modified it a bit to be more regular.
Okay.
So instead of like having everyone come together on Wednesday for 1 hour to do training, we try to do more real-time things. But we still hold that time spot to kind of go over some maybe bigger rocks and what are people struggling with and how can we help.
You talk about bigger rocks, so that's off traction, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, or is that scaling up actually?
I don't know.
No, scaling up calls it priorities, right?
Yeah, I think they call it both though.
They say rocks as well? Yeah, so what were some of your big rocks during that time when you were looking to get into where you had to go?
It was processes that we didn't have in place. So one of the big things that we did was create a checklist.
Okay.
I know it's so foundational, it's so simple, but it really was helpful for everyone to understand exactly what was expected on a shift-by-shift basis. We started doing like performance kind of tracking. So we would do performance meetings here and there, not consistently, but I actually started making the team responsible for inputting their performance every single shift into a tracker where they, for better or worse, it visually comes up red or green, right?
Right.
And so they know where they are. Are they on pace? And then we can quickly see trends and things from that too. So those were 2 things that we did to really align as a team, build skills, and then push forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a very difficult thing. A lot of people don't do that. In this industry is made up of a lot of people that, because it is generally, it's a simple business. It's not like we have a bunch of software and we have a lot of coding. We're just getting a lot of people in shape. We got to share with people that we're really good at what we do, and we just got to get people that are really passionate about doing it all on the same page of what we got to do. The problem is the page doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so if for everybody to be on the same page, you have to have the page. And we have to know exactly where we're going, what we're doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just kind of hire and then kind of like do this, right? Cross their fingers. So that's been some of the biggest shifts in the fitness studios we've worked with. It's just about going like, look, what are the goals? What are the quotas? Who's accountable? And then how do we like get these people trained in them effectively so they can do it every single time?
Absolutely. And one of the other things I forgot to mention was we did the 25-90 challenge.
So remind everybody what the 25-90 challenge was, because that was awesome.
Yes, and I think I came in on maybe the second round of it.
Yep.
So it was Q1 that we did it.
Yeah, because we started in October.
Yeah. So I came for the next round. But basically to grow 25% in 90 days.
Every 90 days.
Every 90 days.
Yeah.
So this one in particular, though, this is when we started these trainings. We started the simple process, improvements around tracking, managing performance better. And then we set these very hard quotas and then some stretch goals on top of that, and aligned the whole team to that. And that was the first time that we had really shared that with the whole team, right? We can't just get there with the sales team. We need our trainers to be on point with this too. Everyone is working in tandem towards the same vision. And that is where we saw just that huge spike in what we were able to accomplish from both a member acquisition, perspective, from upskilling the sales side, but also the entire experience and culture of our building. It was like night and day, and it was honestly so much fun.
Yeah, well, because you guys are all working on something.
Yeah.
And everyone knows their role. Everyone knows how they contribute. Everyone can count on the other person. They know that person knows their role and how they can contribute. When the team's really aligned and everyone knows exactly what has to be done and how they contribute to it, it's a very fun place to work.
It is.
Yeah, when it's the opposite, it's when we hate it, right?
Yeah.
We feel like, they're not communicating, or no one's, this person's not getting their stuff done. Now this person's not getting their stuff done. This person quit. This person needs to get fired. That's a very, very tricky spot to be in, but that's where a lot of people are right now. Your sales has gotten really good. And obviously you're doing sales training and all that. But one of the things we talk about all the time is referrals, because it's so important. So talk to us about referrals in your world and how that's played a role.
That should be our middle name, Rockbox Referrals.
Rockbox Referrals
Rockbox
Lexington.
Referrals Lexington.
Yeah.
Because that saved us, honestly. So we faced some challenges with digital marketing where we literally had to shut our ads off. We had no pipeline of leads coming in that way. We don't have foot traffic at our location. So we really were just in a tough spot, and referrals saved us. So we implemented the referrals at the point of sale with the script, from Loud Rumor.
So basically when someone signs up, here's exactly what you just say to generate at least 2 to 3 referrals, ideally 4 or 5 referrals every single time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. We made that a part of our process, along with, some ancillary sales and pushing that. So we took it from good to great, I would say. That was the beauty of having those kind of structural pieces of training and having personal growth and professional development be a non-negotiable. It was an expectation.
Right.
And so when we would roll out something like referrals, they were excited to role play that, right?
Okay.
And who can do it the best? Right?
So it became a game.
It became fun, and we have a little bit of that competitive spirit within the studio in a healthy way. And we were able to roll out that, and it saved our business in some months. We had, I think, some months it was 80% of our leads were referrals.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many referrals would you say you've gotten in a month before during this time?
100.
100 referrals in 1 month.
Yeah.
Wow. How many members do you have?
We have, I think, around 360 right now.
That's a really good percentage.
Yeah.
That's a really good percentage. Because if you're getting 3 referrals at the point of sale, 30 new members is generally around that. You're
Yeah.
already at 90 right there.
Yeah.
And then you have all the other things. Because are you just doing the point of sale referrals, or do you have other programs to generate referrals as well?
That I would say is the most significant one. We have some other programs that are run throughout the year, for raffle, for referral, or things like that. We also just put it into an everyday practice of if someone is having great success. So we'll run challenges on a quarterly basis. Immediately following those challenges, we see people get incredible life-changing results.
That's awesome.
Which is why we do what we do.
Right.
That's the joy in the job right there. But it happens organically because people see that and they're like, what are you doing?
Right.
Because I want to be doing that too. But we'll also ask, and it's like, you crush this challenge, like who do you think wants, who in your circle wants to come work out with you? So that's a piece of our referral, platform, if you will. And then
And really quick on that, if you ask 10 people that question, how many would you say would give you a referral?
7.
Think about that. Everyone listening, everyone watching, just asking. A lot of people don't ask because they think, oh, some people don't want to do that. You're right. You're not going to get 3 no's. If you ask 10 people, you will not. Unfortunately, that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
If you don't ask anybody, you will not get 3 no's like you would if you ask 10. If you ask 10 people, I'm sorry, you're going to get 3 people tell you no.
Yeah.
That sucks. If you don't ask anyone, you get no no's. It's a wonderful world. You also don't get any yeses.
Referrals.
All right? But when you get 7 yeses, that's fantastic, right? And so you're talking, that's out of 10. if you're asking, if you and your people are working on asking 5-10 people a day that question, you're talking about adding 3 to 7 leads every single day, just off of referrals, not including all the point of sale referrals, which is obviously a great way for you to be able to 10x your business inside of 3 to 4 months.
100%.
Not bad. And for everyone listening, if you want to know like what these scripts are, these promos that we're talking about, I mean, it's not rocket science. It's just about knowing the principles and getting dangerously good at like 4 things. If you get dangerously good at these 4 things, you're going to be successful. So if you're watching this on YouTube, click on the link in the description below and you'll actually see where you can learn more about all this stuff. And if you guys are listening on your podcast, there's actually a description on the show notes page for this, wherever you're listening to this podcast. So make sure you click on that link and we'll show you. Once you know how to get dangerously good at these like 4 things, success is kind of the only option, unfortunately. So you know, there's no other place you can go but successful. Okay, let's keep moving on. So I love that you're getting referrals. Are you tracking them as well to find out how many you're getting per sale or per month or per person in order for you to make that even more competitive and find a way to improve?
Yes.
How are you measuring?
So we, in that performance tracker I mentioned, referrals is a part of that. So they track the referrals that they get every shift and every sale, right?
So every person that you have doing sales on your team.
Yes. So we know that. So we can say, okay, on average, we're getting 3 per new member.
Right.
And then if they get additional referrals, they should report that too. So the other piece that I didn't mention is we are also asking when we're booking people, right? Is there anybody you want to bring with you when you come into class tomorrow? We'd love to, get you a workout buddy. And we do another buddy pass. Like, that's what I'm saying. Rockbox Referrals Lexington. But we track it on the tracker, and then we look at those numbers. So that's that kind of Monday meeting that we have to set the tone for the week. We can see, okay, we didn't sell any bundles this week. Why not? Are we not asking? Have we gotten out of the practice of that? If we have, let's get back in it, right? Because we're not always perfect. And then same with referrals. If we see we're not hitting our average, or we're not getting, or we're forgetting to ask, what is getting in the way of us executing that process flawlessly, so that we can remove obstacles and put it in our practice so that there is never an opportunity to forget, right?
Wow.
It becomes institutionalized in our process.
Another thing that I've heard work really well too when you're booking and you want to get that other person in is you say something like, okay, sounds good. So the 4 o'clock class tomorrow. Oh, and this actually is one of the more fun classes. You picked a really good one. This instructor is fantastic. And it's unusual for him to have a couple empty spots. I don't know why, but he does. Who do you have that you can bring with you? Because if you bring someone with you, not only are they going to be in probably the funnest class we have with you, but on top of that, we're actually going to be able to give you about $180 worth of gifts when you come in. That's what we do for anybody that brings another person. So is there anybody you'd like to bring with you? And then what you do is that gifts could be something as simple as a guide that you value at $99, a body fat and assessment and all the stuff that you value at $89. It could be a voucher massage for the place next door that you guys negotiated a deal. Anybody that comes in here, we'll give them a free massage or something like that. It could be swag, it could be whatever. But just getting them excited and making them feel like there's exclusivity, there's something rare here, and they get an opportunity to capture it, then most people don't.
Yeah, I love that. It's
pretty cool. I mean, you guys are already doing well, so based on your numbers, you may not need to improve it, but for anybody listening, or if you wanted to test it, it could be really good as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so when you're dealing with inflation like we're dealing with right now, and as you're growing your studio, raising pricing or introducing new products is what I prefer doing, is something that may need to be done. Have you guys had to look at your pricing over the last 2 years and made some decisions around it yet?
We have. We, in the beginning, I think we're in a little bit of what I call a wheel and deal space. And I think especially, that 5,000 we were talking about, in desperate times, you feel that you have to do that. And then once we saw that growth, we actually got, our prices were locked down by the franchise, which is great, and they should have been. And there was a little bit of that, dispelling your own beliefs around certain things. I can't sell this at a certain price. My whole team had to go through that.
Yeah.
Because we knew it could be done. We just hadn't done it yet. And so we went from, our founding member rate to probably a $40 increase
Per month.
Right. Selling memberships at that price point, which seemed daunting and it seemed like a lot for our staff. But we pushed through that training, right? Practice. This isn't like, let's go out there and, willy-nilly just try something. Like, we have a script, we have a process. It's been proven to work. If others can do it, so can we.
100%.
Just getting them, building the confidence in their own skills to be able to go out there and sell it at the price that we know it's worth, that really helped us. And then the other thing I'll add is we didn't pay much attention to the types of memberships, or the breakdown of them, rather, that we were selling in the beginning. And so we put a little bit more focus on that too, to say, let's start tracking our average EFT,
Right.
so that we can understand, is there a reason why we're selling, our what we call our standing 8, which is 8 credits a month membership, more often than our unlimited. Most people should be buying our unlimited. So let's dive into that and talk about it.
Right. When you talk about $40 a month, what was your average monthly prior to bringing it up to 40 more?
Well, I think we were around, if you put founding member rate in there, we were probably at 150.
So you were at 150, and you increased the pricing to about 190 then?
Well, it was 199.
What?
So I'm putting in, I said 150 because we had some legacy pricing.
Okay.
So that was actually probably our average
Okay, so
EFT, but our price was 159, to answer your question.
so the price was about 159,
Yep,
and then you went up to about 199.
199.
So that's about $40 increase. Okay,
Yep.
but here's really what that looks like. That $40, a lot of people are afraid because they go, man, a lot of people are going to probably cancel with that.
Right.
Now, you probably noticed some, but you probably didn't notice nearly as many as you thought you were going to get, right? So if you take your 40 and you divide that by 159, that's 25%. That's an increase in 25%. Here's what that means. This is why numbers are so important. If 25% of your members quit, which you probably didn't have that, right? When
No.
you raise price. Okay, if 25% of your members quit, you actually are still making the same revenue with 25% more floor space to bring in new people at the new rate. If 10% of your members quit, you made 15% more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we always are afraid of, and we're thinking specifically, we're like, I already know this person's gonna be a problem, this person's gonna be a problem. How many can you think of? You have 300 members. Can you think of, 75 of them? No. Okay, well, that's 25%.
Right.
So chances are it's going to be an overall good move. Now, I personally like the idea of, sometimes raising price is good, but introducing new products, new versions of things that are upgraded versions of them.
Yeah.
And then saying, we're not even selling the one that you're in anymore. We just don't believe in it as much. It's a good program. I mean, you're getting results. It's good. It's just not great. And that's really what we're focusing on now, is just giving people something great.
Absolutely.
And then people will just go, well, what is it?
Yeah.
And now they want it, right? And so from there, it's just about moving people into different things. You don't just have the same iPhone 3 over and over and over and over. It's the iPhone 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and now we're on the what?
13.
iPhone 12,000.
Galactica? I don't know.
Yeah. So iPhone Infinity is going to be the finale when the world ends. So I really like that you were able to do that, because when you talk about $40 plus, I mean, if you got your average to even just $20 more, and you said you have about 300 members,
Yep.
talking $72,000 a year.
Yeah.
$72,000 straight to the bottom line.
That's huge.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, in a studio space, absolutely, it's extra.
Yeah.
I mean, and if anybody goes, that doesn't sound like that much more, okay, then give me 72 grand.
Right. I'll take it.
If it's not that much, I'll take it. I got something we can do with it. I'll do some really cool stuff with 72 grand. So yeah, making sure that we're modifying these things, because I mean, minimum wage is going up. People are getting paid more. It's just happening. So if people are earning more and everything else in their life is going up, why should we stay the same? It's just very difficult.
Do you need reliable promotional products and marketing for your business? Look no further than Wenning Branding. With their wide collection of trade show and promotional products and stunning silk screening and embroidery, They'll make sure that your brand will stand out from the crowd. And whether it's storage, direct mail, or online store fulfillment, you can trust that Wenning Branding will keep the process safe, secure, and running smoothly. Here at Loud Rumor, we trust Wenning Branding to handle all of our marketing, fulfillment boxes, and more. So, what are you waiting for? Visit wenningbranding.com/loudrumor today to improve your brand. Are you looking for a business texting service that'll grow your fitness studio? Text Request is the software for you. Trusted by some of the biggest brands in the nation, Text Request provides texting services to help you schedule and book appointments, share promotions to your members, and convert leads to sales to grow your business. Schedule a demo today by going to trytextrequests.com.
Yeah, and the other thing you just made me think of is staffing too. Like, people can go down the road to Starbucks and get paid pretty well, right? And have some benefits too. So staying competitive in the staffing space from what we can offer, and maybe it's, not everyone is at a position where they can just pay their people more, but thinking creatively around what you can do for your team and your employees to make it a great place to work.
Right. That's been a big focus for us at Loud Rumor as well, actually. In fact, you're here. So Katie's here. But you didn't just walk straight into the office. We actually met at Topgolf.
I know, it was great.
It was great. And so the reason we actually met up at Topgolf, Katie flew in here to be on this podcast. Show was scheduled for 1:30 p.m. We had our quarterly, and this is kind of like the annual because it's the first quarter, so it's a whole year in review, meeting, all hands meeting. And we went to Topgolf. We all met there around 8:30. The meeting started at 9, was done around 11:30. And then we went to go play golf as an entire team. And then I remembered you were here. I'm like, hey, why don't you come down? But, we are really, really focused on that now, because right now I think people more than ever are really understanding the value of being, like, belonging, being a part of something. So we did Topgolf this quarter, but next month we're doing hot air balloon riding. March, actually 3 months this year, we're going to be giving back. So we're doing this thing called Feed My Starving Children, where we all go and pack food together. We feed about 200 to 300 kids for an entire month every time we go. We got roller skating, we got hiking, we got indoor skydiving, we got Disneyland, we got a bunch of stuff happening. Now, obviously, every business is a little different. All of our employees are remote, all of them, right? And so because they're remote, technically, we have to find a way to get together. And so that's what we do. But in your case, in the fitness studio space, yes, you could do a couple things like this. You want to take everyone roller skating, hiking, Topgolf. I mean, these are all things that are really good to get people together. However, what about the times that we're already together, like every day? How can we do some cool stand-up meetings where we share wins with everybody? How can we do some fun games, where we can tie in sales and we can tie in stuff? You're laughing like you got some stuff already. Do you do some stuff?
I'm chuckling because my team knows I rarely start a meeting without some cheesy, I'm doing air quotes for those listening, like cheesy icebreaker.
It's my favorite type of icebreaker.
But it's because they're all that, aren't they? We don't even need that descriptor because when you say icebreaker, that's what you think
it's
of.
Already going there.
Yeah. I always do that stuff. And we start every meeting with caught crushing. So we recognize caught crushing. So who did you catch crushing it this week, right?
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
But before we get into caught crushing, which I like.
Yes.
That's actually pretty cool, caught crushing.
Yeah.
Give me an example of an icebreaker. How are you coming in with the cheese?
We will do, I had them all submit a song that meant something to them, and then I played them and we had to kind of guess whose song is this and why. And man, no one got, some were obvious, but like for the most part, we got to learn a lot about each other that way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So that was
it's
fun.
cheesy, so it could be cheesy, but it's kind of mushy too.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of like heart stuff.
I make them
a lot
get
of heart
a little
stuff.
vulnerable sometimes.
That's good though. That's a good team. A good team is when you can get vulnerable with everybody else.
Absolutely.
Right? If you can't get vulnerable, you're skeptical. You're not trusting. So I think that's great. All right, caught crushing. So that's basically wins, but instead of me giving my wins, it's me giving the wins of somebody else in my team. Like I saw this person to do this and I thought it was amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's been like a recent caught crushing for anyone listening that goes, what's an example of that?
Oh man. So part of our FTE, first time experience process, we hand off and hand back between, the sales associate and the trainer. And that comes up a lot because that partnership and them working in tandem is critical to the success of
Absolutely.
acquiring a new member. So, one of the sales associates will say, I saw, Coach Chris, he was crushing it. He did an incredible hand back for me. He saw me that I wasn't ready. He helped me stall a little bit by talking to the member. I got ready, wrapped up with another member, and was able to run over there, and he just really facilitated that process well.
That is awesome. Crushing.
Yeah, and the great thing is there is never a time where there are crickets, right?
Yeah.
Like we ask, and there's a lot of recognition amongst the team, and I think it's because we started that right after we did the 2590. We had a brunch with mimosas. Of course. And that we kind of institutionalized it then, and that was in March of 2021. So it's been almost a full year that we've been doing this. It's a part of our fabric, and we love to recognize each other.
That's really cool.
It's nice.
You know, like about Caught Crushing, that's very on brand with you. Like this Run DMC shirt that you show up. I mean, I love it. I'm like, that's it. So Katie didn't know. She's listened to the GSD show a bunch, but she didn't know there was an actual video format.
I've never seen it.
McKenna, don't be sad. McKenna, don't be sad.
Well, now I know it. I'm in a marathon, but of course
McKenna's
I've
worked for
to
nothing. Nothing in this place. It's just useless to Katie. Okay, so she shows up to Topgolf. We're going to go from here to our office to shoot. And I was like, oh, you ready? And I don't remember what I said, but I said something that would insinuate it's video.
Right.
And then you go, wait, it's being filmed? I go, yeah, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? What else are we going to do?
Right.
And we're like, I had no idea you even have a show. So I showed her on YouTube, and it's legit. Like, guys, it's a good production here. And she goes, I'm wearing a Run DMC shirt. And what'd I say?
Said, be you.
That's you.
That's you.
That's you. Don't go changing into someone else.
Right.
I like this. You
Thank
came
you.
here. Yeah,
Thanks.
it's awesome. I like me some Run DMC.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. And now you got Caught Crushing. So talk to me about some other things that you guys do for culture that you think play a big impact.
I mean, little things, right, go a long way, I think, in this regard. So my team loves their energy drinks. So we'll, buy a case of those and have them in the staff office. Protein bars for the team. Those little gestures, I think they appreciate. One of the things, we do the staff meetings and the recognition and things like that, but we also do staff outings pretty regularly. So,
Like where? Like what are some places you guys would go together?
Like last summer, we rented a boat and we went out on the lake together.
I actually wanted to do that. So there is a really cool boat that I saw, McKenna, here. It's like a 2-story boat. It was like, I think, $2,500 for the day.
Yeah.
Or no, for maybe like 6 hours or 5 hours. But it comes with a driver or what do you call it? Captain, I guess. Driver. You can tell I'm not a boat guy. So captain.
Captain, yeah.
And then you can like pay extra to get food on there. But I was like, wow, that's really cool. But then I don't know why we backed out of it. There was a reason, but we chose some other stuff instead. But so is it good? Should I consider it now?
Oh my gosh. It was so much fun.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a blast.
Okay, so talk to me about like what that was like. So everyone knew. Was everybody on board? It's no pun intended.
Pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah. Was everybody on board? Like literally, when you said, "Hey guys, we're renting a boat," was everybody like, "Awesome"?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the lake? Like, where do you guys?
So our studio's in Lexington, South Carolina. There's Lake Murray is right there by us.
Okay.
So
you rent out this boat, and what's this boat look like?
it's just a pontoon boat.
Oh, I love those. Yeah, you totally get everyone on there.
And it was a double
16.
decker. I got the one with the slide. Had a water slide.
Yeah.
Coming off the top deck.
I'm a slide guy.
You're a slide guy?
I'm a slide
oh, you
guy.
should have joined us.
I'm a total slide guy. If I see a slide, I'm on it. Seconds.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much the team.
I love it.
They were up there immediately, and yeah, we had a great time. Dancing, music, like it just.
How long were you out there for?
All day.
Wow.
Just made a day
food,
of it.
Like, what kind of food you bring on?
Good question. I think this is where I don't eat meat, and so my team, they all eat all the things that I don't.
Chicken, tilapia.
Yeah, just
steak.
Lots of food. They consume so much food. It's unbelievable. So I think we did like some sandwiches, and I said, bring what you want, but then they have this boat that drives around the lake.
No way.
That serves like
a food truck boat?
Like a food,
boat.
A food
Wow,
boat.
I
And
should've said
so
that.
we got that, I think, halfway in and stuff. But
What a obvious idea. Let's get a food boat. I feel like I've never seen one of those, but have you seen one, McKenna?
No, but I want one.
You want a food boat, or do you want one to pass by you when you're on the lake?
I want it all.
She wants to own a food boat. She doesn't.
New dreams. New dreams being born.
Yeah, it's all things McKenna are just new and fun and exciting. Okay, so that's really cool. And then afterwards, I don't know if you've done this, but what we're really realizing is, staffing's hard period right now. I think industry-wide.
So tough.
Yeah, it's very tough. And we're going, okay, well, if we're going to work really hard to become the best place to work, well, everyone should know about it. Just like anything else, right? If you build the best workout, you should do everything you can to make sure everyone knows it, because you want to make people happy, and then also it's a win-win situation. So we're like, okay, if we're going to be doing stuff like hot air balloon riding, how do we create some really cool promotional videos to get people excited?
Totally.
Not only that work here, but also that don't work here, and are like, that looks really cool, they're about to go do that. Then a video post, like highlight video for every event that we do. So everything that we're putting out there is really just drawing people in and comparing to where they're working and going, oh, we don't do this stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't go on a boat.
Yeah.
Where's my food boat truck?
Right.
McKenna would switch in a heartbeat if she saw a food truck boat. So I don't know if you guys have started doing that yet, but that's something that we're going to be doing this year. It's like really creating, like investing into that piece of it where we have a videographer creating video around it so we can use it to actually market the opportunity of working at a company like ours as well.
100%. I don't know that we've been super intentional about it, but we do what you said, which is we always post about it. I always tag my team in anything that we're posting on social media because I know that they will share it.
Of course.
And we really do just have fun together. And so we will all just naturally post about that. So I think it happens organically.
Yeah.
But huge opportunity, you're right, to leverage that, right? And say, this is a great place to work.
Yeah.
You should want to be here.
I wanna do two things. It's an and or. I wanna make competitors nervous, which either does inspire them to change, and now they start doing it too, which is great because that makes me have to work harder, which means everything just keeps getting better. Or gets them to talk junk about us, which means they're even further from doing it because now you can't talk junk about something and then go and do it because it's a hypocrite. So now it's like totally locks you out, right? Like, oh, why would they do that? You don't need to do that. Great, awesome, good, keep it away. Let's keep bringing the employees. So we really want to get it out there.
One of the things that we did this past summer, we did a few things because summer is slow. It's a tough time. So we wanted to capitalize on that time by doing as much around brand awareness as we can, getting into the community. So we did two things. We did one was a ladies' night, like a sip and shop event. And we had 20 other local businesses come to the studio.
Wow.
Set up tables. I mean, it was a full-on vendor event with crafts, you name it, right? We had a plant lady there, came and set up, and
what's a plant lady doing?
She sells house plants.
House plants. Wow. So you had everything there.
We had a wine podcast there, clothing. I mean, literally, you name it.
Wow. And they probably were promoting it for you to get people there as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So how many people did you get?
I think we had over 175 people register for that event. It's our biggest event we've had, and it was very successful. We converted, I think, 5 to 10 members from that. Just that, and then, to be honest, we didn't track it after a while. And I wasn't able to isolate my referrals from those people too. So I don't have the full, ROI, but the brand awareness piece of it alone and the cross-business relationships, oh my gosh. And we've leaned on those even since then, help us do a quick collab, all of the opportunities that come
One of
out
the things that, I've talked about, I don't know if you were in any of these team calls for everybody listening, I do calls every Wednesday where we teach something. And then one of the things that I've talked about before was really partnering with your local vendors. So the massage therapist down the street, the smoothie shop, the chiropractor, whatever. The challenge is a lot of people go to do that cold. Right, so they just walk into the massage studio, the smoothie, and they go, hey, we're at this place on the street. Yeah, I wanted to know if you were interested in doing some sort of and it doesn't really go that well because it's kind of like a what's in it for me type thing. Even if there is a benefit to both parties, it just feels weird, right? So it's very important. We talk about building relationships with them ahead of time without any ask. You know, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. Which smoothie should I get? Awesome. Hey, thanks so much, right? And then just, you know, talking for a minute, getting out. Nothing in it for you. No requests, no idea generation, no nothing, right? And then just, hey, how can I help? Is there anything you need from me? Cool. Well, let me just know. I'm right down the road. If you need any ketchup, sugar, whatever, just come let me know as a neighbor. I'm a good neighbor, you know. And little by little, bumping into them again. Hey, you know, we should grab coffee. We should grab lunch. Building a real relationship. Because now what happens is when you have an idea, it doesn't come from a self-serving purpose because you haven't been that. That's not you. So now if you were the neighbor, the massage therapist, right, I may say to you, now we're at lunch, it's like third time we've hung out or something. Hey, Katie, out of curiosity, because I'm, you know, looking at my marketing and how this whole thing goes. You do ads, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you typically pay per lead?
Am I making up numbers?
Yeah,
Because I'm a
make it up.
massage therapist.
Yeah, but it's going to be about the same as fitness.
Okay.
Yeah, we work both.
Probably, you know, $30, I guess.
$30 a lead?
Yeah.
And then out of like, I don't know, 10 leads, just because we're about the same, out of 10 leads, how many would you actually turn into a member?
Out of 10, I would probably say 3 to 4.
3 to 4. So you're paying, well, how many would show up out of 10? If you got 10 leads, how many would you even get in the door?
Well, I'd say 7.
7. So if you're paying 30, that means you paid $300 to get 7 people in the door.
Yeah.
Essentially, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I'm just doing my math because my numbers are similar. So $300 divided by 7, so you're paying $43 to get somebody in the door for like, what is it, a free massage that you give away?
Yeah, it's kind of like an intro to massage that I do for them, yeah.
Well, what do you think about this? What does it cost you? Like, because obviously you have to pay the massage therapist, right?
Yes. So our cost is around
$16, $20 for a massage.
Yeah, I was gonna say 18. I think is my latest data.
Yeah, cool. So let's say you're paying overall you're paying about $62, $63 to get that person a full experience to see if you can upgrade them to a member.
Correct.
Can I think I got an idea for us.
Okay.
What if I start sending people to you, like our best members, the ones that actually have money, so you know it's even worth the time? Because sometimes I'm sure you get people that are like, you know,
they just want the free kind of.
They're probably not going to be
intro,
monthly recurring, right?
Yeah, maybe not.
So let me pay the massage therapist for you. I'll cover costs. This way you don't have any advertising costs because I send you leads, not Facebook. And then you don't even have to worry about the cost of the massage therapist. It's covered.
Okay.
So I pay $18 for every person I send your way, you know. What are your thoughts on that so far?
I mean, it sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one angle. Now from there, anybody that upgrades to this big package here, part of the enrollment fee, you get this, and you just take your $18 costs.
Right.
Right. Now, you may even be able to say, forget that. You may even, if you know that person really well, and they really understand marketing, be like, well, look, how would you like, instead of paying $63, what if you only paid the $18 you're paying that therapist? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
How about any people that are like, they buy the highest paid membership? I mean, just so you know, we're charging like $199 a month.
Right.
These people got money. How about anybody that signs up for the premier membership? We let them come to you for a free massage. And instead of paying them to come in your door, we just send them for free. And you know they're good. How's that?
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah. So, but that's a hard conversation to have when you don't know them and you just meet them.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? So that's why it's really good. It's almost like you're coming up with something together versus I came to you with an agenda and you're not prepared to discuss this.
Yep.
And that's where it gets that weird feeling. So for everybody listening, and I love that you're doing stuff like that, meeting your vendors, giving them a platform to come into your studio, getting to meet your staff. I mean, that's even better. It's like 2x that, right?
Yeah.
Now they're meeting your staff. They're seeing everything. They're even meeting some of your members already. So they're able to see the quality of people you've already been able to attract. Events are fantastic. How often do you do them? Because I know there's a lot of companies that do like closeout events too.
Yeah, that was a very large event. So we don't do, that was like we're going to actually try to make it a big annual thing.
Okay.
To where we can be recognized for that, and people, hopefully, vendors will eventually pay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to charge anybody anything crazy.
So like the Macy's Day Parade version
of Lexington. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And then we will go out in the community and do events as well. So kind of a part of this summer where I was talking about, we did a summer sweat series at breweries, and we did a coffee shop. So we did like 2 in the afternoon. Out at breweries, and then the coffee shop. So we're able to kind of give our members a creative experience something different.
Right.
To keep engagement there and utilization high, but also bring friends, people just sitting at the coffee shop or the brewery is like, what are they doing, right?
And bringing business to your
Correct. So we would like set up a table and and have that there. So
and it's so easy when you have all these people there come to this coffee shop to be able to go to the owner and have any conversation. So you're like, yeah, we should do more stuff like this often. They love it. They love this stuff.
Absolutely.
We actually, if you want, even come get your people, get them to go do a workout here. I'll give everybody here a free workout.
Well, I think studios, like you have leverage. You have a lot of members, right, that you can speak to say, we will talk about your business, and then we're going to bring a lot of our members straight to your business.
Right.
That day, you post about, you have a lot of things that you can add value for to those people out in the community. And then a couple of them said, let's make this a regular thing. Yeah. Like they loved it.
I'll tell you right now, if I owned a smoothie shop next door to a studio, I'd be like, hey, can I pay you $50 per day and let me just come in 3 classes per day at the end of every class, and just when they're stretching out, just say, hey, and also we have Mike here from the smoothie shop next door. He just wants to say hello. Hey everyone, just want to let you know we are open. We have some of the best smoothies, or very refreshing. We're actually very known for this, but anybody that's a member here is actually going to get 20% off for life anytime they want to come in, as long as you're a member here. So that's a gift from Katie. Thank you so much. I got to get going, let you guys stretch out, but thank you guys. Be like, look, you have 20 seconds to say something.
Right.
Make it good.
Yeah.
And I would
and
pay for that.
you're adding value for your members.
I'd pay you every day. I'd be like $50, $100 a day. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think what you did that's really important. A lot of people will form these partnerships, and that's wonderful, and it's great, but some people don't, and I think there's a fear of it takes too long, it costs too much, I don't have the staff or the time. But what you did is important, because you showed, okay, this might seem like a little bit of an upfront cost to me, but actually running through that data and understanding the return is going to be much greater, and over a longer period of time, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
So you got to take the time to really investigate the data, the numbers, and how this is going to benefit you in your business, and just go for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree it's going to cost time.
Sure.
But I also agree it's going to cost more not to do it.
Yeah, there you go.
And you think of the 2 options, okay, have these relationships correctly or don't have them. The person with these relationships is going to win, is going to crush them.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to compete with the guy next door to me or down the street from me that literally is friends with everyone around us.
Right.
I'd be nervous. So if we know that we would be nervous, go be the person that makes others nervous.
Well, that you brought it home for me, Mike, because the whole reason I brought this up, when you said you want to do 2 things, right? Make your competitors nervous.
Or inspire them.
Or inspire them.
Yeah.
That's right. We, at one of these summer sweat series, saw a competitor owner stalking, was in his car watching the event. And it was probably one of my most, I don't know, alarming moments as a business owner. I just couldn't fathom that someone would do that.
I'd totally do it.
Just to see what we're up to.
100%.
But it was
I'd walk in.
It was also the moment where I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
And it was a kind of cool moment, kind of weird for me at first. I'm like, whoa. And then, they want to know what we're up to.
And there's
they're
nothing.
Nervous.
They're doing research.
Yeah, I mean that's
I mean,
true.
I don't even know if I would do it because I'm nervous. I would do it because either A, is there I don't believe I'm going to take your idea. I believe I'm going to make your idea better at my place, or it's going to get me thinking in a direction that I wasn't thinking. A lot of times it's just about getting your brain to think in a different track. Like I was telling my team at the State of the Company meeting today, I had a mission Q4 of last year. That was one of my rocks personally, was to build a really great system for an excellent culture for 2022. And so I interviewed like 5 or 6 CEOs that are proven to have some of the best remote culture in the country. And when I was interviewing them, I was hearing a lot of ideas that I'm taking for sure, and I think I'm going to make them better. But more than anything, it got my brain working, and so I was able to think of new ideas on my own just because my brain was now starting to get programmed to think in this fashion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So that's why I would watch you.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the biggest values. We've kind of been talking about this business networking, right? And building those relationships, the community and the value of being able to talk and collaborate with other owners. Like, people may have some original ideas, but we're just innovating, right? And making things better. And it's an iterative process like anything else. And being able to hear all of those different perspectives. I mean, it's so rich. That's, I feel like, one of my favorite things about being a franchisee and having that community of owners, but also Loud Rumor, being a part of the team program. You know, everyone owning a Rockbox, we're all kind of doing the same thing. We're hearing the same messages from the top, right? But being able to step outside of that and see what are so many owners of different studios doing, how are they doing it? That was when you nailed it. Things just started to click, and it would lead to another crazy, radical idea that might just work, you know, or
100%.
Or a simple idea that I just hadn't thought of before.
Did you ever consider inviting that person in?
No.
Would you, like, what do you think about that?
I mean, I'd be open to it. I do know that his wife has already been in for a class when we first opened. They secret shopped us.
I'd totally invite him in.
Yeah.
100%. Because here's some of the benefits to it. Number one, you showed him stuff. Law of reciprocity. Law of being a mature person. What does he have to do? Show you stuff.
That's right.
Right? Now, maybe there's nothing in value to you there, but there's another point to this. What if he can't keep up with you and he starts going out of business, but he's still got 120 members down the road? What happens to those members? But what if he's your friend?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not just giving it to you, even though there's no value in it to me. The average person, I feel like I'm losing or like throwing in the towel by giving you my members. I'd rather just close up.
Right.
But if you're my friend and we've actually been friends, I may say like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it. Look, I'd rather somebody take care of my members than nobody. Like, I have really good people. Would you consider like buying some of them or anything like that? Yeah, absolutely. This is what I typically pay acquisition costs right now. So, you know, right now I pay about $100 to $150 acquisition costs. Call it $125. You have 130 members. I'll do that times that. Give me a 15% discount for buying in bulk.
Yeah.
And I'll take them right now. If they're in contracts. If they're not in contracts, then 50% discount. You know? Like,
sounds great.
But that's not going to happen if, you know, but there's so much benefit. There's very little benefit from not talking to each other and not, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, and the only thing I think people could be afraid of is you're stealing my ideas, but you should always be coming up with new, better stuff anyway. So as long as you're doing that, then they're always being an echo, not a voice.
And you're already doing it. So it's not like,
yeah,
you just did it.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I like becoming friends. I mean, I like becoming friends with anybody. There was one guy, quick story for all you guys here. Patrick and I are the same in a lot of ways, but his instinct is very much like protective of Loud Rumor. Like, you come for a second to hurt Loud Rumor, I'm going to crush you. That's Patrick's, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, right? I mean, you come near me, I'll kill you, kind of thing. Now, me, that's kind of how I feel as well on the inside, but then I just know it's not going to be a good response, or at least that's not my strategy. So there's one guy, I remember, I'm not going to say his name, but he was talking about us on Facebook. And keep in mind, this guy had a fraction of the clients, like a small percentage of our clients, and has no case studies, no testimonials, but he's talking about how we don't know what we're talking about. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
So I ended up reaching out to him. I found out his phone number. I ended up reaching out to him. And he was super, like, defensive and abrasive on the phone, like, you know, thinking that we were going to fight. It sounded like he thought I was there to pick a fight.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, man, listen, I think what you're doing is great. At the end of the day, we both want to help the same people. If I was a kid and you were a kid and I found out you like Super Mario Brothers and I like Super Mario Brothers, we instantly become friends.
Yeah.
You like helping people that help people all day. I like helping people that help people all day. We love the same stuff. Well, give me one reason why we're not friends. And he goes, well, because you're a competitor. And I go, dude, let's be real. There's 100,000 studios in the country that are just yoga and Pilates. There's probably 500,000 that are more than everything else. Could you even handle 1% of that? No. So why are we fighting over 1%? We can crush it on another 0.5% separately.
Right.
And he's like, oh, you got a good point. I was like, how about I just share some stuff that's working for me? If it works for you, great. And that's it. And we started talking, and we had like a great hour-and-a-half conversation. Guess what happened? No more comments on social media.
Yeah.
no more negative stuff that annoyed us through our ads. Like that went away.
Yeah.
That stopped. Now, we didn't form like a partnership or anything, but it just, the respect was gained and the nonsense stopped.
Yeah. And when you think about it, unfortunately, there is some turnover in members in the fitness industry, right? And a lot of things will say if people stop, they don't go back for another 6 months or so. But they do go back, or some people just want to try something new.
Right.
So my ad dollars are really serving him and vice versa, because in the boutique space, that's, people love that stuff. They want to try something new. They're not, you know, some people will be with you for years and they will stay with you and they don't want to ever do anything else, and we love those people. But at the end of the day, you're going to get members from those studios and vice versa.
Right.
So wouldn't it be great if someone says, oh, I'm thinking about going to try Rockbox, that instead of that coach or owner being like, ugh, whatever, they're like, oh yeah, you know what, I've heard good things about that place.
Exactly.
Best of luck to you.
It's true though. I mean, if you've never been in a fitness studio program before, it's always been that $9 or $20 gym membership. Once you start with a fitness studio, that's kind of like your new thing, right?
Yeah.
Like now you want to go from studio to studio. I think McKenna, you've done like a few different things like that, right? And I know my wife's done like 3 or 4 different things, but she can't go back now because she understands the higher level of service and results, right? Katie, I feel like we can talk for hours, but now that I look about it, it's been a while.
Like an hour.
There's a lot of good stuff here.
I know.
It's like 2 episodes probably, but you're looking at your notes here as if there's something you wanted to get out. Is there something you want to get out?
No.
Okay.
No. I was just kind of seeing like, did we cover this? I don't know.
You know
I
what?
feel like we could talk for a really long time.
Of course we could, because we like the same things.
Yeah.
So the truth is, I've had people back on my show several times. I'd be definitely back open to having you back, especially since you're winning awards now through our company. We got you on stage.
Well, thank you.
It was great. But I think you're super smart. I think it's been an honor to be able to have you down here and be able to be on the show and learn from you as well. Your staff seems super lucky to have a leader like you. So appreciate everything you're doing for the industry and everything you're doing for Loud Rumor and our listeners by sharing some of this stuff today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. You and the whole team at Loud Rumor are incredible. I'm not just saying that because I'm here, but it's been a huge influence in my leadership and our business. So thank you for everything that you guys are doing here.
I appreciate
it.
And for everyone listening, if you liked the episode, you liked what you heard, give us a like, subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes or podcast through audio, then just go ahead and leave us a review. They really, really do help. And if you want to learn more about how Loud Rumor can help you, just go to Loud Rumor. Actually, is that what you want us to do, McKenna?
They can click the link.
Click the link. Click the link. McKenna knows what to do, and sometimes I do not. That's why McKenna's always here in the room with me. So click on the link, and then we'd love to set up a call with you and show you more about how we work with Katie and all the other studios that we work with. Katie, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.